Hello, I'm Jacqueline. I just completed a small group talk, and today is August 26, 2010. The topic of our group talk today was our most memorable travel experience. Maybe good, maybe bad, but our favorite thing we have done while traveling or favorite country we have visited. So it was a very fun conversation because everyone in our group really enjoys traveling. Um, Everybody agreed that their favorite experiences were outside of their native country, so international travel. For example, Tunisia in northern Africa was one response, and this was because it's on the sea, but it's also a dry country. So the contrast between desert and sea, this was a very memorable thing for her. She really loved the exotic experiences of riding a camel and sleeping in the desert, and she also really liked the Tunisian food. Another, for some of us, it was difficult to choose which travel experience was our favorite. So there was quite a few answers, such as Manhattan, and Manhattan is a great place because of the energy in the city. It's a really fun city. Also, Vienna was another answer. Barbados, where you can enjoy the beach and the weather. And as well, Europe was an answer. So one of our students was on a European tour, so they went to almost all the countries in Europe. And she said she enjoyed this time because she was traveling with her family, so this was a great experience for her. Also, India, and this is because of the contrast between their home country and and India was very different. So this was an adventure. So these are some of the answers that we had about our favorite places we have visited and traveled to in the past. Um, there was actually maybe some very small grammatical or vocabulary mistakes during the group talk, but there was one that was pointed out was one of the students was confused how to say that somebody changed ages. So what they said was last week she is being 17 or she is to being 17. So this was a little bit confusing. So the word that we use when you change ages, the verb you use is to turn. So last week she turned 17 years old. So someone turns another age. She turned 17 last week in the past, or she will turn 34 next month in the future. Some new vocabulary words that we learned today, or actually they're expressions. The first one is to take something for granted. So this means to expect something without thinking about the effort or importance behind it. So, for example, children often take things for granted because they don't understand where things actually come from. For example, the money that it takes to buy things, or the animals or vegetables that people grow or harvest to eat. So children take these things for granted because they don't understand the importance or the effort behind getting these things. Another example is, my mother makes me dinner every night. I often thank her so she knows I don't take her for granted. So this is someone who understands that making dinner every night is a big effort and it's important. So she doesn't take her for granted. And she says, oh, thank you for dinner. It was very nice of you. So that was the first expression that we learned, and it was a little bit difficult to explain and understand, but in the end we understood it all and realized there's a similar Japanese expression. So I hope everybody understands this now. The other expression is a round of applause. So this is a group of people clapping after a performance, for example, or a concert, or after a game, or when there's a winner or a loser, or there's a an example of round of applause in a sentence is the audience gave the singer a big round of applause when she finished her performance. So the group of people clapped a lot. So this is called a round of applause. And another example is, ladies and gentlemen, please give our guest a round of applause to welcome him to the stage. So then everybody claps. So these were the 2 new expressions that we learned today. Otherwise, it was a really great conversation, and everybody did really well speaking English and expressing themselves. And so there was only a very few things that we had to write down and figure out. So I hope this talk has been helpful. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you again at the next group talk. Thank you very much.